Alrighty, we're up and running. Excuse me. Wait for a few people to pop in here, and then we'll be underway. Looks like we can get in an 8-4 here pretty quickly, but I think I'd rather wait at least just a few minutes. Hey, Jeremy. How it goes? Yo, yo. You sent me an email, Jared? Sure. Was it? I assume it's to the LR account. I'll take a look. Hey, Kieferman. Matthew, what's up, man? Just got back from poker. Hey, Ralagon, welcome. Oh, it's madness, all right. I have a prediction for tonight's stream. Tonight, we will draft a very good deck and lose, which is the exact opposite of what happened last night when we drafted a very bad deck but won somehow. Oh, thanks, Matthew. Good morning, Flo J. Hey, James. Poker was interesting. We had a bigger game than we normally do, and I ran pretty bad at the beginning. Kind of fought my way back and finished just a little below even. We might be monomap aggroing again. It is unclear. I'm going to see which one of these ticks down, and then we'll jump in one of them. I kind of like getting into the last second when I'm streaming. Just makes it a little harder for people to jump in and ghost. They have to just know, which doesn't happen very often. Yeah, I think you might be right, Copper Martin. It's a proven fact. Good morning. Good evening. All right, this one's at 1. We will jump into this one. All right, we did it. This is a 6222, which is fine. Could be in a 6222. All the repeals. Well, I think I want to take Electrolyzer Hikari here. This is a somewhat exceptionally bad pack, to be honest. The overall power level here is very low. I'm just going to take the Hikari. I think it's the highest power level, easiest to cast. I don't like Smoke Braider Force Elementals. I like picking up the good Elementals and then picking up the Smoke Braiders later. Smoke Braider is an important card for the archetype, but that doesn't always mean that you have to take it before other cards. LSV would love that pack. You are correct. Okay. So somebody took an uncommon over Banefire? What's the uncommon that you take over Banefire? Celestia Guildmage? What am I missing? Whatever, I don't even care. I'm just taking the Banefire. Oh, we did it. We just got past a Banefire for a non-foil uncommon. What are the non-foil uncommons that you take over Banefire in this set? There just aren't any, I don't think, right? Like the player on our right. Yeah, Muldrifter over Banefire? I mean, even me, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I like where you guys came. I think Muldrifter is the question here. But I don't think it's correct. Bolt over Banefire? Dismember over Banefire? Those are interesting. Those are interesting. I don't think that they're correct still. I still don't. I wouldn't do that, but those are interesting picks. All right, well, we're going to take an Allus Dust here. We're just going for outright power level at this point. Hikari can come or go. It doesn't really matter. The foil was in there. The foil was in there. Desert Twist or Savage Twister. Just finishing your breakfast, lazy man? Well, I hope it was good. What did you have? Fourth pick? No, you can't rare draft. This is the rare. I'll take it. I mean, as far as power level goes, we look pretty good here. Person on our right is a confirmed madman. I might agree with you on that, actually. So it's either Everflowing Chalice or Guild Mage. I've been really enjoying the Guild Mage, even though I keep saying that it hasn't impressed me as much in this format as I thought it would. You know, I have been doing some pretty nice little value plays with it. I'm going to take it over the random Chalice. I think we can pick up a Chalice. Chalice is good with Banefire and Allus Dust, but so is any ramp spell, and we're planning on playing a few of those anyway. Guild Mage is much harder to replace. You think Banefuhrer is overrated? Ooh, interesting. I have not found that to be the case. I have found it properly rated at excellent. This is a bad pack. I'm going to take this Sylvan Bounty. Yeah, the deck is okay so far. What's up, puppy duck? Completed our quest to have one of each color card, including colorless. Oh, sweet. I'm glad. I like doing these. Yeah, I do the 6/2/2/2s or the 8/4s, whichever one's about to fire. I'm pretty impartial on them at this point. I kind of just... whichever one. I am not partnered, no. Oh, that's interesting, Matthew. I actually agree with you on that. How good is this Secret Necrogenesis? It's really not that good, right? Like, I either want to play one... I want to play one of those. I'm going to take this Narcolepsy instead. Servitor or Garrison. I'm not convinced that we're going to be playing white, but I bet you we'll play a little bit of it. Yeah, I agree with you, Matthew. I actually agree. Foil repeal. All the X spells. Wow, this Overwhelm is still here for some reason. I guess nobody's in that deck. Though by nobody, I think I'm probably including us as well. Take this Thallid. Card can do things. Gnarlid Pack or Grim Affliction? I'm going to take Grim Affliction. We don't really have much removal yet. Yeah, creatures are overrated at the speed of modern formats, right, Matthew? See, creatures in Banefire are unnecessary. Ooh. Hello. Alright, so now all we need is infinite ramp spells, more removal. Wow. Some good creatures. Am I lands in front or back? I am most decidedly a lands in back. I can't stand lands in front, to be honest with you. Because when I do commentary, it makes it really annoying. Ooh, look at this pack. Precursor or Celestia Guild Mage. I got to hear what you guys have to say about this one. Yeah, last pick Karoo. My mic is not off. Guild Mage, Golem. Guild Mage right? That's a good question. People looks like they want the Golem. I like the Golem here myself. Matthew likes the Guild Mage. I think I'm going to take the Precursor here. I like Precursor, All is Dust. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, Spread the Sickness is tough to pass, but I'm going to take a Rampant Growth here for somewhat obvious reasons. Guile. Precursor is easier to kill? Don't really know what you mean by that. I'm not splashing Guile. Yeah, All is Dust Golem is a thing. Also, I mean, Precursor Golem asks a pretty pertinent question. It's just like, hey, do you got any removal? No? Okay, then we win. Like, just that simple. If they do, it feels bad to have all three Golems killed, but, like, it actually ends up being not that bad. All right, so what do we want? Burst Lightning or Nest Invader here? We're a little light on creatures, but Burst Lightning is a premium spell. Nest Invader's close to premium, but not quite. I'm going to take the Burst. Give me that removal. Repeal plus Golem equals Ancestral. That's true, isn't it? That's sweet. So I can repeal for just blue on a token, and then I get my precursor Golem back, or when the repeal goes to resolve on the precursor, does it not? Does it say, oh well, this thing costs 5, so what does it fizzle, or how does it work? I like Chimeric Mass. I like Narcolepsy too, though. I'm going to take the Mass here. If we're ramping into colorless stuff, that's really good with what we have going on. Though right now ramping is not super high on our list as we're having a kind of hard time finding the right stuff for it. I'll take Urkel's Recall for value and for the board. No, if you target a token for blue, jeez. If I target just one of my tokens for blue, it copies on all three, but will it resolve the way I want it to on the precursor, bringing it back to my hand and drawing me a card? That's my question. It misses the 5, Matthew? And I don't get to draw the card. Does it just fizzle then, or only bounces the tokens, and I don't get the card off of the main one either, right? Just to be sure. Yeah, it's just that normally you can't target it, right? But in this case, it does actually copy it and end up getting targeted, which is why I'm asking. Okay, so it just bounces the tokens. All right. Because if it picked up the golem, then it would be close to what whoever said, with the whole ancestral. Apparently we're on all golems all the time here. We could play a lodestone golem, which is actually decent. It's a little awkward for us. Otherwise, I think I take Nest Invader here. It doesn't look like we're going to play Hikari. What do you guys think? Lodestone Golem or Nest Invader? Yeah, normally you just bounce the 5-man. I just wanted to know if I could do it for just blue. What are you doing here? Come here. Come here. Oh, the dog I'm dog sitting has shown up. I promised yesterday that she'd make it on the stream. Come here. Come here. No, she almost fell down. Come on. Everybody wants to see you. I'm going to take this golem. What do you guys think? Electrolyze his ancestral. Okay, that's not true. Nest for consistency. I like that. All right, I'll take the Nest Invader. Ooh, foil Spellskite, and it's a good card too. Ugh. Come here. They want to see you. All right, kids. This is Grace. Hi. She is the best dog. Oh, she's tired. Spellskite is great. Spellskite is just a great card in limited. It's also just a great card in the format. Oh, you're great too. Mana fixing has been rough here. I think I'm going to have to take this Fear of the Suns over another Gambit or even an Infiltrator. We just don't have ramp and fixing like we actually need. We've taken the rampant growth we saw, but this is rough. She fell asleep. Cathodian is good. Wrecking Ball's good. We're at 9 creatures. We'll need to pick up a couple more, but not too many. I'm going to take the Wrecking Ball still. Holy crap. No idea what's going on here, but I'm windmilling Apocalypse Hydra. Certainly not short on win conditions at this point, but wow. Yeah, I don't get it either. No, we got the sleeve all right. Ugh. I don't know, Matthew. It's possible. Maybe she was drafting on my right. I just pulled her away from her screen, so now she's just random drafting everything. It's possible, right? No, I'm not going to be in Vegas. I'm at home now, and I'm not going to go back to Vegas till after the World Series and hence Summer League are both over. That would be cool, though. I'd totally go check out those games. I would totally do that. Oh, 3 confirmed. I mean, this is not a good deck. It's funny, but I actually can't cast my spells. I mean, I've got an evolve. I got a little bit going here, but like the ramp is almost nil. I guess I did get 3. I guess I got Rampant Growth Sphere and Chalice, so it's not the end of the day. So what deck are we? I think somebody called it Tribal X-Spells or something like that, which seems about right to me. Okay, I need to make a few cuts here. I can cut one of the Grim Afflictions. I think I can cut a Tribal Flames because we're not actually ramping into that too well here. I can cut one Repeal. This is a creature. Cut the Ulamog's Crusher because I think we're good on win cons. And I guess I can cut the Tukatung. Doesn't really do much, or maybe just a Scuttling Death. I found that card serviceable, but we're not getting anything back with it. I'll cut it too. We'll go to 8 creatures here. Who needs creatures? All right. Let's get some basics in here. What do we need? We need 1 plains. A couple more swamps. This looks good. This is probably a 2. This is a 4. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe it is. I want the blue for my Guild Mage if I can get it. What was that? Uh-oh, getting raided. All right, I'm going to submit this deck, but I got to go take care of the dog real quick, but I will be back. back. Did we win? All right. Draw the perfects. Gonna go get a forest with this thing. Going to play a Nest Invader here. So I guess I should just get a swamp here, though. I think getting a mountain definitely has some benefit. As we've got Banefire, Burst Lightning, Apocalypse Hydra, Wrecking Ball. If I get a swamp, it opens me up to the Necrogenesis and the Grim Affliction that are in my hand, and also Wrecking Ball. Yeah, I guess I just have to get a swamp here. A card in the hand is worth, etc. I think I'd probably trade Grim Affliction for that thing. That's worth it. Oh, there's a Burst Lightning. All right, let's see if we get the option. Also have the option of playing Chimeric Mass and then going for Grim Affliction after. All right, well, let's just make a big old Chimeric Mass here and give our opponent something to think about as far as tapping stuff down. We don't really have a whole lot going on besides this anyway. It's a good draw. Opponent is likely just to pay the 2 life here, which is good for us because I get to still attack with Nest Invader. Ooh, this is great. This is just great. That's just too good. That gives us multiple things to get with Necrogenesis. And it gets that Scion of the Wild, which can be a problem when you have removal like what we have here. You know, which is a kind of better at killing small stuff style removal. So this worked out nicely. Yeah, and I can proliferate with the mass at some point here as well. We'll see. Rootkin. That one's pretty good. Might be worth a repeal at some point here, but we'll see. Arrest doesn't do much. Let's get this guy up. Okay, I think I'm just going to burst lightning the rootkin here. The shields are down for my opponent, and getting that rootkin off the battlefield is a pretty big game. It can start throwing around counters and really making our life tough. Plus, it just sets up further Necrogenesis shenanigans. Alright, that's not bad. Ooh, we hit Everflowing Chalice. 2, 3... Oh yeah, this is good. This lets us make a Necrogenesis token and activate our Chimeric Mass. Basically, this thing's just getting in for 2 a turn because my opponent keeps tapping out, which I don't blame them for, but I'm kind of happy about it. Repeal could be pretty good. Oh, we're just going to get hit here? Alright, that's pretty good. Interesting, interesting. Something bad has to happen to our Chimeric Mass here. Just getting tapped? Alright. Keep rumbling. I'm just going to pass here. I'm just going to keep taking it. I think the repeal's better off on if my opponent plays something big. Let's get Scion of the Wild out of there. And get Nest Invader out. Gnarlid Pack, wow. So, let's see, so... Oh, but it's all green kickers. Oh yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer. So we're only going to get to kick it once. But we can put a counter on it with Grim Affliction. We could repeal the Soul Eater. Probably do it next turn. We're winning this race. I can't cast Arrest. Wouldn't be surprised to see my opponent start to attack with 1 or 2. I don't really get it, though. They're on 6 cards. I guess they needed black this whole time. Yeah, just not going to attack at all this time. All right, I'm going to go for repeal. Get some chump blocks going. Is that good? So I can Banefire for infinite, and there's really nothing my opponent can do. They're at 5. They just really can't do anything. I'll go ahead and attack here. This is a lethal attack. But yeah, Banefire's going to do it. Thanks, Smith. Ah, good to know. Yeah, this is why we attack first. It's pretty important. X is currently 1 trillion. Hey, Rado the doggo, that's awesome. Nice to have you along. What do you guys think about bringing in the other repeal? My thinking is it's basically blue, kill a token, draw a card. It just keeps us going through our library, and even though it's not going to kill a full card with a Spectral Procession or a Scatter the Seeds, it gets, you know, a third or a half of a card, and we get the card back. It feels like if we can just pay blue to draw a card and kill a token at any time, that's probably just worth doing, right? Like, it's probably better than like a Wrecking Ball or a Gnarlid pack or something like that. Tukatungs, decent. Yeah, just cycles versus tokens, but it's not just cycling. Like, it's killing a token, and, you know, when they have Sigil Blessing or whatever, like, you can really get them. I think I'll cut Arrest. I think Arrest is probably pretty bad against them. We did actually see some big stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to cut here. Narcolepsy? Yeah, I'll cut a Narcolepsy. It's terrible against tokens, and it's not good against the tapper. Yeah, I think Wrecking Ball is probably good enough. Oh, Palaka Worm for me. I will keep this. We certainly have a game plan here. All our colors, too. Whoa, what happened here? What happened here? Looks like we just got curveballed here, kiddos. Hey, Muted. Yeah, I guess it's fine against it. I still don't think it's good, though. Oh, this is way different. This is crazy. I'm going to play my Chimeric Mass later. I want to get it for full value before I All Is Dust. It's a little awkward. Arrest All Is Dust doesn't really do what I want it to. I'm going to attack here. Now, are you up again? Didn't I just put you to bed? Well, now we're blocking? Interesting. Alright, let's just keep the mana going here, I think. I don't want to cycle Sylvan Bounty. I don't really see a big point in that. So I'm just going to play this. Yeah, it is a non-bow. Okay. You did it. All right. I got to get this dog. Hold on. What are you doing? What are you barking at? It's late. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Why are you barking? You trying to protect everybody or what? Alright, apparently she wanted to get back on the stream, so here we are. This is actually not my dog. This is a friend of me and my girlfriend's. And she is a Yorkie. And she's definitely one of the best dogs ever. Might be an all-timer. You okay? Cycling fiery fall for a forest. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if my opponent just completely changed their deck or if they were just off of colors or what. Wrong way, go back. Your dog is like, who is barking? Looks like she's just tired. All right. I like that. Well, there's a repeal, which isn't bad. I could arrest the Dread Drone. When I fire off the All Is Dust, it'll kill both of them anyway. I think I like that plan. That just takes basically all of the pressure off of us as far as actual, you know, real pressure goes. I'm probably not going to draft again after this. This is just round one. The head of one of your dogs? Yeah. Yeah, she's tiny. She's good, though. You all right? I could All Is Dust next turn, though. My idea is I don't want to. I want to get Chimeric Mass down. Taking it, and just let my opponent commit a little more. What? Not playing anything? That's weird. That's really weird. Make a big old Chimeric Mass. And I'll just start thumping with Chimeric Mass here, probably. What is this? I can activate my Chimeric Mass and just block this Blinding Soul Eater. I mean, I'm opening it up to some type of creature destruction, but what could it even be? Sundering Vitae kills it no matter what. Shatter, whatever it's called, Smash to Smithereens kills it no matter what. Another Fiery Fall would do it, but then they would lose their Blinding Soul Eater here. Black, I guess Wrecking Ball would kill it, but Wrecking Ball is going to kill it. It won't do it unless I activate it, but I'm going to activate the thing at some point. So I guess I'm just going to activate it and block. I mean, I think that this is just going to happen no matter what, so I may as well try to get some value here. Okay. Fiery Fall? Is it worth 2 for 1-ing? Vengeful Rebirth. Getting back Fiery Fall. Okay, but Blinding Soul Eater is still dead. Yeah, that's a little annoying, I suppose, but it's not that bad. I need to find a threat. It can be kind of anything at this point. Double black, blue, blue. I've got all my colors here. I got double blue for double spell skites. All right, well, we're evened up. Aha. Polaka worm. I'll probably just have to always dust that. I could Banefire it. I think I'm just going to take a hit from it. I'm going to take one hit from it, and I'm going to fire off Sylvan Bounty. And then I'm going to hope that my opponent just plays another card into my All Is Dust, basically. Four cards in hand, plays nothing? What in the world is going on here? Doesn't make a lot of sense. All right. Could repeal the arrest. Yeah, maybe that was correct to do. Gives me a backup removal spell as opposed to just repealing, you know, whatever threat that they play next. Yeah, I like that better. I should have done that. Yeah, I really like that now. Oh, really? It's pretty good. Alright, well, I'm going to have to Banefire it. Yeah, I just wasn't reading the chat. I would have done it if I saw it. Or if I saw the chat, I just didn't see it. I guess I can repeal again here. This is game one. Basic land cycling it. For a plains. Oops. No, I guess it doesn't matter. Tribal flames me. Oh yeah, this is game two, sorry. Alright, we lose. Alright, so the deck that we thought we were facing is just completely not the deck that we're actually facing. I don't know if he switched over or what, but that was just totally different. The Tukatung looks a lot worse. The Gnarlid packs look worse. I think I want something big like an Ulamog's Crusher here. Can I make my deck more blue and play the Stoic Rebuttals? Because I can draw something. I don't care if he knows I have a second repeal anyway. Plus I'm pulling it. Yeah, I am a little confused about how our opponent went from reasonable deck to kind of also reasonable deck. It doesn't seem like a thing, but here we are. I'll play the other Narcolepsy. That's what I want back. Yeah, the cards I pulled were just very good against what our opponent was doing. And if he changes back, it's not the end of the world. I mean, we're going to see a lot of those same cards, so it's okay. But I think I just want some more finishers. This looks fine. Can make a Gnarlid pack that's pretty big. Yeah, Grim Affliction coming out is definitely an option. Oh, are you awake? Where do you want to go? You want to get down? Down you go. You alright? You gotta go outside again? I might let you do that. Resolves. Awkward. No block. I'm trying to decide if I just want to do something here. I don't think I do. I can hit for 4 though with the Gnarlid pack if I do. Can also just Banefinder here if I want. I know, I was hoping for a block or a double block, but it's going to get rid of the Soul Eater. If this game goes the way we want, it's going to go long. I thought about playing Hydra and then Affliction, but it's still not really worth it. If we have no other plays, you know, in the next few turns, then I would consider maybe playing the Hydra. No, I wouldn't say we're not the beatdown. We might be. It depends on what our opponent plays. Dread Drone, that's fine. Obviously, we want to find either lands or ramp spells at this point. I think if I attack, my opponent's going to block with Dread Drone, in which case I just have to Grim Afflict it anyway. So I think I'm just going to Grim Afflict it now. Yeah, it's not great value, but it's pretty decent. I mean, we got a counter and killed a creature that could start attacking through our Spellskite, so it's a big... that's pretty good. Tribal Flames the Gnarlid pack. I could spend 2 life to have this kill Spellskite. I think I'm just going to let it happen. Alright, business. Ugh. That is very annoying. We got a lot of spells that kill that. We're 1 away from Hydra for 10. I could do Hydra for less here. Still don't have double red, though, to kill the Creekwood Liege anyway. I think I'm just going to repeal it. It prevents a token from hitting. It sets our opponent back on mana and gives us a little bit more time to try to find something. A land would be fine. Burst Lightning's good too. Alright, so that's sweet. Yeah, Liege is the nut. I mean, we have 2 removal spells in hand. We can only cast 1, but neither of them did anything against the Liege until we found our Burst Lightning. Jeez. Now we need white for arrest. Yeah, you got it. Gambit. Tezzeret's Gambit indeed. Like to see a Plains or a Rampant Growth. Okay. So our opponent is likely going to just pass to try to make a couple of Saprolings, which they're going to be able to do. So we'll probably have to Narcolepsy the Scion and arrest the Primarch. Or, excuse me, the Guild Mage. Oh, he had to use both green? Oh, that's great. That's great. That means that we don't even have to worry about that. I still need to get the Scion out of here, though. Yeah, do I? I probably do. And then next turn we can start slamming just absurd bombs and have protection with our Spellskite as well. Yeah, I forgot that he had to use double green. I thought we were going to be seeing at least one Saproling out of the deal as well. I could take a risk and not do the Scion. All right, so this is, oh, a Crusher? Interesting. All right, so we've got, let's see, I can go 2, 3, 4, so 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and have 3 mana left over. Or I can just play Ulamog's Crusher. The Hydra does seem better here. It's just if it untaps and just gets killed, then it's worse. But if I have the Hydra up here, I can just eat the Ulamog's Crusher. I have to sack a couple lands, but I think that's just better. Actually, it can't really get killed, can it? Let's see, so this is for 3. I guess I can even leave up an island, an extra island, just so I don't have to pay any life here. Currently 6, so it's a 12, 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I think I need to pay the last of it. I don't think Spread the Sickness does anything here, right? It just kills my Spellskite. That is a 14/14. I get to attack for 20 next turn. And then play Ulamog's Crusher. I can make Vines retarget, right? I made the thing into a 14/14 so that it wouldn't get killed. Alright, well, he's got Smash. Anyway, I was trying to play around Tribal Flames or Vines. Gnarlid pack as well. Okay. Alright, so this is actually a lethal attack with Apocalypse Hydra. My opponent doesn't know that, though, and they may just take it. Yeah, this works out fine. If they take it, we just win. But they can only see that we have 2 red sources, so they don't really know. Yeah, that sucks. Vengeful Rebirth is pretty good there. Yeah, the smash on our, what's it called? On our spell scout was pretty brutal. If I don't get that thing smashed, then I can kind of just soak up any of that stuff, and obviously we have the win next time. I thought the Narco was fine. That thing could attack through our spell skite, and if he played 2 creatures at any point, can attack through our guy. So I think the Narco was fine. I'm not worried about that. I wouldn't say I played it perfect, but I think it was fine. Hey, nice. Welcome to Magic Online. Yeah, I think that was fine. I mean, like, I like playing around, you know, I like making our big guy big enough. I like the fact that we attacked for lethal and they didn't know. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised our opponent chump blocked. I guess they just had the, they must have already had the Vengeful Rebirth in hand, which that would make that chump block make a lot more sense. But, I mean, I would have had to have top decked a mountain to actually kill them. Although I guess a burn spell would do it too. You know, I don't actually know that yet, Pharmacist Judge. I just read the announcement when everybody else did. I wasn't informed beforehand, and I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I expect that when we get to the Pro Tour in Vancouver, we'll be debriefed on how it's actually going to work. My hope is that it doesn't put any undue delay on the tournament or on the stream. I think it's an interesting decision they made. I was kind of surprised about it. I didn't expect it. I'm really curious to see how they address the players with it too. Because even when, in the feature match area, even when we had it as a rule that we wouldn't use replay, the players still asked for it, you know, somewhat often. Like when something big came up, they said, hey, can we go to the cameras? And even though it was already a rule that you couldn't. And so I expect that if they change the rule to that it is allowed per the head judge's discretion, that the players will probably ask for it. I mean, anytime, and they're going to ask for it a lot. I mean, if I'm a player and I get a judge call that's questionable or that I just don't really like that much, I'll probably just say, can we get a replay on it? I don't know. That doesn't mean that the head judge is going to say yes, of course, but I do anticipate a lot of asking. Oh yeah, that's tough, Rado. Good for you though. That's cool that you're doing that. Yeah, I don't know how much dead time. I mean, look, if they set up an instant replay that's easily accessible, then that's just the best of both worlds, right? Like if if a player asks for it and they can just pop it up and do it, and it takes a couple of minutes, but they get it right, that's fantastic, right? I mean, that's a real thing. I think the scry on the mulligan is pretty cool. I got to try it out once. I did a home draft at my friend Adam's on Monday, and on one of my matches against my friend Zame, we said, "Hey, do you want to try the new mulligan rules?" Sure, why not? And I mulliganed to 6, and I got to scry, and it felt interesting. In fact, we both mulliganed to 6, and we both scried. I don't think that they should push that direction too hard, but I do like nudging it, and that's what they did. They nudged it over into, I think, a pretty reasonable territory. So I think it's great. In my mind, one of the arguments you'll hear on one side of the equation is that that it's good that those mulligans and such happen because it lets the bad players beat the good players sometimes, and that's important. But I feel like that's just a function of like mana, the way the mana system works more than anything, and that even when a bad player beats a good player when the good player mulligans down to nothing, I don't think that's a particularly fun experience for either. Not that the bad player really notices. If you notice, players that are new to the game don't really pay attention to what you're doing, even if it's mulligan to 4 and just never play another spell. They'll just happily, trot out their creatures, kill you with them, and just not really even notice that you're having a bad time or whatever. But what I will say is that it's not much of an experience for either player, right? The newer player will look at it like it just nothing happened. Like I won, but like there weren't any cool plays. I didn't get to do anything. I just played some creatures and attacked. And of course, the experience from the other side of that is horrible, right? I mean, if you mulligan to 4, you just don't get to play Magic. It's just terrible. It's like probably the worst thing about the game is when that happens. There's not too many other games that are even remotely successful where you just sometimes don't get to play them. That's not great. So I think this does it better. That's awesome, Rado. You are welcome. I love doing it, and I am super happy to provide that for you. And I'm really happy that I get to do it for free to anybody that wants as well. I think that's a great thing. I don't think that's really true, Kieferman. I mean, time will tell, right? I don't know. We need to see this on a bigger scale with professional level players, which of course is why they're going to roll it out at the Pro Tour. But there is always a chance that it does that. But I think if they did, they would pull it back. They're going to be looking for feedback, I'm sure, from people who have tried it out, especially the pro players who really understand Magic and get the underpinnings of it too, not just the surface area stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they got a lot of feedback and maybe tweaked it a little bit. But I think in my mind, like you can change the mulligan rules in pretty big ways. From a 1 to a 10 or something, where 10 you get to just, mulligan to 7 a couple of times before going down to 6 or whatever. Or maybe do like a Hearthstone style mulligan where you can just pick which cards you want and mulligan the rest, right? That would be like a 9 or a 10. And I think that what they did here is like a 1. Like maybe a 2. It's like a 1 or a 2. I mean, it's hard to come up with too many lesser things that you can actually do, to the mulligan decisions. Oh yeah, Dr. Loy, that is the number one thing that I try to do when it comes to being in the booth or doing the podcast or doing the stream or videos or anything, is to always try to keep the newer player in mind. They're so important, to how this game works and how the economy, and I don't mean money, but like the, new players coming in, older players leaving, all that kind of stuff. I just think it's super, super important to always remember that. And I think it's one of the things that I have a different perspective on than some of the guys that do coverage or the professional players and stuff, because I did come back relatively recently. Now, I keep saying that, but it's creeping up on 6-7 years now, so it's not recent, but it feels like it to me, and I still very much remember my first experiences coming back into Magic and not knowing any of the slang and not being comfortable in the local game store where, everybody knew each other and everybody knew the card names and had the slang terms that I just didn't know. I remember the first time I played a draft and somebody said, "I'll swing with my whatever," and I just said, "I don't know what swing means." And they're like, "I attack with it." And I'm like, okay, I just didn't know if swing was something other than attack. And it's funny that, if you talk to any professional player, I mean, that's just so far in their distant past for most of them. They started playing in 2000 or something, or even earlier, that kind of thing just never registers for them again, right? But when I'm in the booth or when I'm doing these things, I'm thinking about it in those terms. Like, some people still don't know what it means to say he swings with his, she swings with her flyer, right? And I mean, look, I'm not saying that we have to dumb it down to that level where we don't say that stuff. I'm just saying, like, your mentality, if you're in the booth or doing these videos and stuff, should be that those people are still out there as well, and you should keep them in mind, right? They don't necessarily need to be the core audience, but they are there, and we need to welcome them into the game. And one way you can do that is just by acknowledging that they exist and just saying, oh, for those of you that don't know what it means when we say, "I time walked my opponent," this is what we're talking about. You just give a short, clean explanation and you move on. You don't got to make it into a big topic or whatever. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, this is a little weird. I don't know if my opponent's just not going to show up, but we're like 30 seconds away from that, which is kind of lame. Am I going to Din Tai Fung or what? I will. I go to that place way too often, but I love it. All right, well, it looks like we won, which is pretty awkward. Yeah, Nether, it's not about that they couldn't figure it out. It's not. My point wasn't that they couldn't figure out what we meant. My point was that it's important to keep in mind that not everybody knows all the things that we know as experienced Magic players. That's the point. You can harp on my example of swing, but I didn't know what it meant. When my opponent says, "I swing with my whatever," I'm like, what is that? Like, is that the same thing as attacking or not? It's a legitimate question. I mean, swing? That doesn't mean anything. And that's just one example. I mean, I can go a lot deeper than that and show you a lot of examples of that. So this is a 6222. Right, you just want to reduce the overhead on new players, but it's a balance, and that's the thing that I have a hard time with, finding exactly where I should be and when I should be at, is if I'm in the booth, like if I do my videos or if I do the stream, I can tune it to whatever I think people want, and that's fine. I'll just have to trust my judgment or whatever. But when I'm in the commentary booth, it's not the same thing. It's a situation where I am representing Wizards and the game there, right? It's not me. It's not like how I would do commentary is not how I do commentary when I'm in the booth. Now, it's not that far off, you know, like at the PT, but it's different, right? I mean, I have to realize that I'm the in-between for a lot of people to usually the professional player who's sitting on, you know, beside me. And I'm not just me in there. And so it's a tough balancing act, because while I want to keep the door open for the new players and make sure I don't forget about them, you don't want to sit there and take any ridiculous amount of time explaining what some of these terms mean, because most of the audience knows. They do. You know, like I assume that the majority of the people watching know what it means if I say, oh, he really time walked his opponent there, right? I think most of the viewing audience probably does know what I mean when I say that, or they can figure it out. But when it comes to, you know, the newer players, I think it is worth it to just give it a second there, you know. But for me, it's like, I got to be careful because, you know, this stream, my videos, the podcasts, you guys come to that because you know what you're going to get, right? And I try to give you that. So we can meet in the middle, right? I can figure out what you want with your feedback, and you guys know what you're going to get when you come to watch my stream or watch one of my videos or read the column or get on the podcast, right? And I have a goal for that. I have a vision for it. It's about getting you better at Magic. It's about having some fun. I try to have a little more fun here, but, you know, whatever. And I have I have complete control over that. And the beautiful part is that if that isn't somebody's bag, they can just leave. It's not hard at all, right? They can just be like, you know, this guy's not good enough, or he made a mistake, so I don't want to watch, you know, whatever. Like, to me, that's ridiculous, but there's no issue with the transaction of somebody finding a reason to not want to watch what I'm making and then just not watching it. That's easy, right? So the people that are here watching are because they want to be. But when it comes to being on the Pro Tour and the GPs when I'm doing coverage, that's not the case. They want to watch Magic. That doesn't mean that they want to watch me, right? That doesn't mean that they want to watch any specific commentator or any specific player or any specific format or anything. They just know that it's the weekend and they want to watch some Magic. So when it comes to me, I have to try to work a much finer balance there. And I know there's always going to be somebody who's, you know, unhappy with it, but I'm trying to really, you know, hit the broadest group that I can while still keeping the enfranchised players happy and still keeping it accessible for the new players. It's a tough balance for sure. Favorite limited format is Easter Tempest. My favorite to play is Triple Innistrad. My favorites for nostalgia, I don't really have. Oh, I guess my favorite for nostalgia would be Rise of the Eldrazi. Oh, I love that change, Calamity. I think that making players that are on the feature match area put lands in front or lands behind is a great change. It's just my personal opinion, right? I'm not saying that there's any one particular way, but look, I'm in the booth. I'm the one who's trying to translate what's going on the board to people at home, and I'm trying to reduce the barriers as low as I can myself. And when the players put barriers up themselves that just make it confusing, where people in the Twitch chat are like, why does one player have their cards like this and the other have it here? Does it mean something? Right? Oh, did I not read it right? Oh. Wow, yeah, I was way off. Caladinus? Yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, yeah, so I think that, you know, getting that sorted out in the feature match area where the viewers can come watch and they know where the things are going to be every time is much better. I personally think that everybody should just play in that same way. I don't know why people decide not to. I find it frustrating. I don't get it. There should be a societal norm built around where we put our permanents in our graveyard and stuff. And it doesn't have to be exact, but at least, you know, in the rough order. Yeah, those are just the two of the best formats. It's question time for a moment because our opponent didn't show up. Drifter, this is Well, theoretically, Magic the Gathering, though, we're in between rounds right now, so we're just hanging out. Oh, I'll be doing cube drafts on the stream for sure. Tom Bomb, you bet. Yeah, Adrian Sullivan's going to have to make some adjustments. I kind of feel bad for him just because, like, he does his stuff so weird, but I find it very annoying. I personally don't think that he should be allowed to set him out the way he does. I think it's just too confusing for the opponent, and I don't like it. Yeah, I go to local F&Ms, not too often, but I do try to make it when I can. I have a problem though, is that one of the poker games that I play in goes on Friday evenings. It starts very early. I don't know why. It's the only game I ever played in a casino that starts at 6, and it's the game. It's the bigger game for our area. It's not a particularly big game, but it's a bigger game for the area, and it fills up, and you have to get on the, otherwise you're on the waiting list, so I have to go in there and be there at 6. Yeah, I don't like upside down cards. You mean like when they're turned over? I don't like that either. How do I think Triple KTK compares to those two classics? I loved Triple KTK. I have it in my top 5, so I think it compares. I think Triple KTK was fantastic. Cube comes back like soon. Soon. I don't know. Next week? Soon. I don't know. Yeah, I did answer that, Sweetcar, but the TLDR is I like them. Prof. Croc, not quite a direct quote, but close. I mean, I like Adrian. He's a good dude. I don't like the way he lays out his cards. I agree, Dare Me. Cube is next Wednesday? Okay. Fight habits in a format. That's a great question. I should talk about that on LR. Maybe I'll do that. I like that question a lot. I'm gonna take note of that, and I will. I'll try to fit that into LR at some point. Who asks this? This is not a real name. That's pretty good stuff. I like that. Modern Masters. I think Modern Masters and M13 are my other two. I have not been there for an F&M, but I have been there to play Magic, and it's fantastic. The place is just great. Both of them. Yeah, I think the pros are fine. I don't think that they're going to make a big stink about it. No, I've only drafted a couple of times, Kiefer Man. In fact, hilariously, at one time I drafted it, and I did a video, I think. Yeah, I did a video, and I just jumped into it on time, like full block, Future Sight, Time Spiral, whatever. And I did not realize what I was getting myself into. That format has something like 40 different mechanics in it. It is completely ridiculous. And every card has infinite text. And I open up my pack and I'm just like, oh my God, I have no idea what to take. So I start reading the cards, and there was one that was really good for my deck, and it had so much text on it that I was just like, I can't justify the time to read this. I'm just going to hope it's not good for my deck. And it was something really good, and I passed it, and everybody yelled at me, but whatever. I still stand by my decision. It was great. I would have preferred Evergreen Morph, but I don't think that would have been the right decision. But what I want and what's good for the game sometimes don't line up. Yep, all those Phantom tickets are ready to go. For the LR Cube, you can follow at LR Cube on Twitter, and they'll tell you how to do it. There's also a Tumblr that will show you how to do it. There is a list of changes for the incoming Cube Tom Bomb. Randy put it up. He once again axed my my favorite format, or my favorite archetype, but probably correctly so. No, I don't think I want to go to Eastern Washington to play in a random casino. I've done that once. Oh yeah, it gets crowded. How to get some free ticks? Nah, man. There's really no way to get free money. I mean, you can sell your cards. You know, that's the best way to do it. Yeah, I saw PV and Adrian were both fine with it. I can understand their side. I'd be a little annoyed if I were them, but it makes sense. Yeah, Prof. Croc, I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're very obvious, but they're, in retrospect, you know, okay, sure, they did seem good. But like week 1 of Dragons, we didn't know what the good decks were. Like, it still takes a while to figure it out. Yeah, the heavy-handed archetypes are a little annoying. Is that what he said, Kieferman? That not every set will have a Planeswalker? I'm fine with it. I don't really care. They're mythic. Like, I don't see them in draft that much. Yes, my favorite archetype was Time Vault plus anything else. Yeah, Uncle's is a nice store, too. I've been over there. You found the list. Good. Opponent never showed up, so we're waiting for the next round. It looks like we've just got one game to go, though, which is pretty cool. This round went by fairly quick. I like the second coming of Sandstep Outcast and Origins. I actually wrote about it for the column this week. I think those little Thopters are going to be a really nice little touch. What's the most cost-efficient deck? Do you mean for Standard? CJ Dar? I would consider streaming online poker except for the fact that it's illegal. I used to play a decent amount online, but it's been since 2011 and Black Friday I haven't played. Drifter. I was not a fan of Anti. Mana Burn I haven't missed. Night, Jeremy. Best way to buy a standard deck on MTGO? I mean, you can get it from the bots or trade for it or whatever. Yeah, our opponent never actually showed up for the game. No, not Whirler Rogue. Here, I'll show you. Hey, look. It's me. This guy, Girapur Gearcrafter. I hope you can see it. I can't zoom in on it, but... What's up, Wrong Way? We are 1 minute and 40 seconds from the third one. We are technically 1-1. Yeah, online poker is just illegal, period, in the States outside of New Jersey and Vegas. It's terrible, Prof. Croc. I find it completely terrible. Now, Whirler Rogue is like a good version of that. This Reclusive Artificer is pretty interesting too, because only one deck wants it. And the deck that wants it, wants it pretty bad probably. I mean, it's going to do 2 to 3. Probably kill a smallish creature, and it's a haste creature itself. And then it has a pretty big upside too. Yeah, I think I wrote about it on here, how many times I've done it. Yeah, I said either 0 or 1 time. It's the over-under is 0.5, and I've got a lot of those, so it doesn't happen. Colt 45, yeah, I think it is worth it. I have modern decks on Magic Online, and I'm really glad I have them. When it comes time to battle, they're doing that Modern Festival that you can qualify for now, and that thing has some savagely good prizes. All right, what do we got here? All uncastable except for Banefire. I'll keep this. This is not to be confused with a good hand, but... What the? Simic Initiate? Alright, well, I think we're going to have to burn our Banefire fairly early here. If the new rule were in effect, do I mulligan that? Great question, Kieferman. Don't know the answer, but it might be actually the case, yeah. All right, well, based on previous experience, our opponent is obviously 5 colors. Not a great situation that we find ourselves in here. We are going to take a ton of damage. Maybe just die. Okay, we got this thing down to a 3/3. Precursor Golem could be great here. I guess I just kill the Primarch with Banefire here. This forces them to have another creature. Or else have to trade off the Scion. And our plan is to play Precursor Golem next turn either way. Simic Initiate becoming a 2/2 here? Probably. No? Alright, well, stick one time Precursor. Doesn't need much, but in green-white? What kills it? Oh, a Sunlance. Now, our opponent would have Sunlanced our Gnarlid pack, I think, earlier. If they had it. Predator makes Scion of the Wild huge. Yeah, our opponent's deck is good. That's really annoying. Oh, good question, Kieferman. I don't know. I haven't thought about that. Oh, well, good job, Colt. At least you got to play. Yeah, Prof. Croc, I actually haven't seen it either. Hey, Josh. What up? We're barely hanging on this game. Ooh, I don't think this is a good attack. Oh, I'll take this. Come at me. Oh, looks like they're going for it. All right, so I think I put Precursor and Gnarlid pack on Scion, and then 2 Golems on the Rootkin. That leaves me with 1 Golem facing down a Kozilek's Predator and a Simic Initiate. I did play professional poker, I still do. This looks good, right? Get some value out of our golems. Need to draw something, though. Chalice? Don't think Chalice is great here. I'm going to play it. Hold. You think he wasn't accounting for that? You could be right. What do I die to? Mutagenic growth? So if I block the initiate, I take 3, and then if my opponent has like a 2/2 and I brick, I lose. If I trade off for the Predator, and my opponent has a 2/2 or whatever, then I can actually survive. All right, I'm gonna trade. This gives us the highest possible life total. Oh, they had a 2/2. Engage genius mode. Oh. They had 2/2 power creatures. All right, well. Oh, Sylvan Bounty. That's actually a real card here. Funny. Still going to need to find an all is dust here. Yeah! Doing it, as they say in the business. Sick. And we drew repeal. Oh, man. That was ill. All right, this is going to be Kavu Primarch, which I'm just going to repeal here. Get Tezzeret's Gambit. That's a good draw. Chimeric Mass. So 2, 4, 7. I can make it 9/9, and then I can Gambit next turn. Or 10/10, I should say. All assault. Bring your 7/7 on. I know opponent has drawn 5 lands and everything else is just pure action. It's pretty ridiculous. All right, well, there's Sphere of the Suns, which I should probably play first. Let's see. So 1, 2, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I've got. I just want to be able to play a rest if I get a Plains, but I can. Although, actually, looking at it, how many times am I going to need the Sphere of the Suns anyway? No, I think I'm not going to get greedy. I'm just going to fire off the Gambit here. Oh, and there's the Plains. Wow. Just running it up. And Wrecking Ball? I'm trying to decide if I want to attack for 11 here. It's pretty conservative if I don't. Let's see, Oblivion Ring gets Chimeric Mass either way, but I have Wrecking Ball up. I'm going to wait. I know it's really conservative, but I feel like we put ourselves in a spot to actually win this game here. And it's going to take us a while to do it. If I get him down to 11, if I hit him for 11... goes to 15, and then blocks 3 times in a row with Eldrazi Spawn anyway. And if I leave up Wrecking Ball here, then Oblivion Ring actually gets the job done. Or if I don't leave it up, then it gets the job done. I think the solid play is to do this. Now, here's a good example. I get to Wrecking Ball this now, although I suppose that doesn't matter super much. Are you going to attack me with 2 Eldrazi spawns? No? Alright. I'm going to go for the Wrecking Ball now. It's a little, like, I could wait until they maybe tap out and sack a spawn token, but then if they don't, I kind of get boned. You know, trying to play around something, but I don't know. The spawn tokens mean that I don't really get to get any value out of that. Okay. Narcolepsy. Opponent should probably just take this, I would assume. Alright, that works too. Go ahead. Kami of Ancient Law. Yeah, see, there we go. And we get killed. Yeah, it's baddie. That really sucks. I'm not going to not attack to play around that. I like what we did with the whole waiting on the Wrecking Ball, but I'm not going to get too crazy with it. That is lame, though. Yeah, I know, Ifro. We flooded a little bit. We actually got pretty lucky that game. We were facing lethal, top-decked this to keep us alive, and then drew this to wipe the board. Now, what we needed to see was something like a Crusher, which is a card I think I want to bring in. Maybe not. It's actually pretty bad against this deck. I never got that either. Repeal, sure. I will just bring in the Crusher. Or actually, I'm just going to cut up Plains here, right? Sure. This resembles a real hand. I think pulling the Arrest is correct. I mean, it can still hit a Narcolepsy or whatever, but I don't want to pull every enchantment, but Arrest is hard for us to cast. Cut 2 lands? I could. I need some help figuring. I still never can quite figure out how to do the numbers when it comes to bounce lands and how many lands I'm supposed to be playing and such. I can get a Gnarlid Pack down, but I don't really know how much value that... I mean, I can just cast Gnarlid Pack, but I can also go Everflowing Chalice and Gnarlid Pack. Which gets me some mana, but I think I need to try to play Chalice next turn for 2 to try to get this Crusher down, so... I'm just going to be a little inefficient here.